It's Tuesday again, and I would like to hang with you lads, but I'm off to listen to the new episode of the Slaven Selection Show. Play now or stay in dark forever.
I will try not to be late going forward, but listen, I can only control what I can control. I'm making up for lost time. Anyway, you discard your podcast themes when they prove to be cuckoo's eggs, right? In one of the upcoming weeks, I will instead discuss the Canadian space program. Even though I don't believe in fetishizing institutions, I respect them enough to incorporate them in my podcast. First of all, thank you, Toronto Library's Digital Innovation Hub. I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for the lab and studio you gave me. As one might think, libraries and other educational institutions are essential to society. And for sure, they are essential to me. Again, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Toronto Public Libraries. Thank you again. This time, let's talk about the establishment that is baking in the Californian sunshine. Palo Alto. Fear the tree. You better. You know you're proud even if you dropped out of Stanford University like Elon Musk or John F. Kennedy. It is one of the few universities where I feel safe to say failing the course could be a more positive indicator of success than passing the postdoc. Take a moment to consider other notable Stanford dropouts such as Steve Jobs. In 1972, he left school after just one semester. Yet he kept attending audit classes. Later on, he became a tech visionary and co-founded Apple. I'm not a big fan of Apple. I think it's over-designed and controllable in so many. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. Still, in order to focus exclusively on their research engine project, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, the Google co-founders, left their PhD programs at Stanford University in the 1990s. Sometimes your amazing brain functions at a different speed, and Stanford most definitely does not represent pretentious academic BS where obtaining degrees and a wealth of information is the main goal. Regardless of their academic accomplishments, Stanford brings together the world's most inquisitive minds. While the university's culture and location in Silicon Valley can encourage an entrepreneurial mindset, Stanford actually does not actively encourage students to drop out. However, it is relatively simple for students to stop out, quotation marks, right? Or take a leave of absence in order to investigate other options before opting to return or withdraw permanently. Although Stanford generates a large number of successful graduates in a variety of professions, several well-known students have left the university early to pursue their goals and endeavors due to the attraction of the tech sector and entrepreneurial chances. But not everyone follows the same path. Notable figures include the renowned Gary Nolan and Andrew Huberman of the Huberman Lab podcast. And everyone who's interested in UFOs knows Gary. Gary P. Nolan is an American immunologist, educator, company leader, and innovator. He holds the Rashford and Carlotta A. Harris Professor Endowments Chair in the Department of Pathology at Stanford University School of Medicine. Nolan has founded biotechnology companies, produced numerous medical research articles, and participated in ufology. He also claims that some people representing the government and an aerospace corporation, I guess it's a military-industrial corporation complex, right, contacted him in order to help them understand the medical harm that had come to some individuals related to supposed interactions with an anomalous craft because they were interested in the kinds of blood analysis. And I would assume that both Lex Friedman and Joe Rogan know a lot about it. So when it comes to actual university's architecture, it's an interesting story, I would say. Henry Hobson, Richardsonian Romanesque architectural style was followed in the construction of Stanford University's iconic main quadrangle, or main quad, by the esteemed architectural firm of Shepley, Rutan and Coolidge. Operating from 1886 until 1915, Shepley, Rutan and Coolidge was a prosperous American architecture business with a large clientele that includes significant civic, ecclesiastical, and college architecture. The firm was headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts. The main quad blends Romanesque and Mission Revival style with linked sandstone structures that include arched arcades, strong columns, and red tile roofs. 2010 saw CAW Architects remodel and redesign Stanford's school building, also known as the Peterson Building. The goal was to restore historical elements such as the central courtyard atrium while maintaining the historical Richardsonian structure and transforming it into a collaborative space. The renowned architecture company Diller, Scofidio, and Renfro, an American multidisciplinary design practice that combines performing arts, visual arts, and architecture. So there are four partners: Elizabeth Diller, Ricardo Scofidio, Charles Renfro, and Benjamin Gilmartin oversee Diller, Scofidio, and Renfro, a New York City-based firm. Leland Stanford was chosen to represent California as a U.S. Senator on March 9, 1885. An important turning point was Leland Stanford's election, and that paved the way for later that year for the formation and establishment of Stanford University. Stanford University was founded in 1885 by Leland and Jane Stanford as a memorial to their only child, Leland Stanford Jr., who died of typhoid fever at age 15 in 1884. The Stanfords decided to use their wealth to establish a university that would be non-sectarian, co-educational, and focused on both liberal arts and practical education. They established the university on their former Palo Alto stock farm, and Stanford officially opened on October 1st, 1891, with 555 students and an emphasis on being non-traditional for its time. The 1906 San Francisco earthquake caused major damage to the young campus, killing 2 people and destroying several buildings. Jane Stanford's leadership kept the university operating through financial difficulties after her husband's death in 1893 and the earthquake's aftermath. Prior to its ascent to prominence in the 1960s, Stanford was not well known. Its involvement in research during World War II helped it gain recognition. Leaders as Frederick Terman, who pushed teachers and graduates to launch innovative enterprises near campus, helped the university foster the growth of Silicon Valley. President Donald Kennedy resigned from Stanford in 1992 as a result of financial difficulties brought on by student protests in the 1960s and 1970s. President Gerhard Casper helped Stanford recover financial stability and kept up its ascent to become one of the top research universities in the world. Large-scale fundraising efforts such as the $6.2 billion Stanford Challenge made it possible to expand across disciplines and build new facilities and programs. In 2016, Stanford commemorated its 125th anniversary, showcasing its influence and entrepreneurship, academic scope, and $2.7 trillion in yearly income from businesses started by alumni. Over the years, Stanford has grown from a small regional university to a major force in research and higher education worldwide, overcoming obstacles while adhering to the ideal of its founders and as a cutting-edge co-educational university. So let's talk about like a famous Stanford project. One of them was Stanford Torus, like T-O-R-U-S. The Stanford Torus is a proposed design for a space settlement designed during the 1975 NASA summer study at Stanford University. It was designed to house between 10,000 to 140,000 permanent residents. And it's a donut-shaped ring, 1.8 kilometer in diameter, which creates artificial gravity via centrifugal force. And Stanford University has been involved in research and discussions around the concept of asteroid mining, which is, I think it's very important today. It's something because we are running out of resources. Even big countries, rich countries like Canada or even Russia, So Stanford has offered courses like Physics 240 that explore the technical and economical feasibility of asteroid mining missions. Students analyze topics such as prospecting viable asteroid candidates, capturing asteroids, and extracting valuable materials like water and metals. Research at Stanford has looked into the challenges of surveying and identifying appropriate near-Earth asteroids that could be targeted for mining based on factors like composition, velocity, and accessibility. Studies have examined methods to either mine raw materials from asteroids and bring them back to Earth, or process certain materials like water directly on the asteroid to produce rocket fuel. However, the high cost of transportation and capturing asteroids make the economics of large-scale asteroid mining very challenging currently. So Stanford research highlights that while still it was in early conceptual stages, asteroid mining has transitioned from pure science fiction to a topic of serious study for its long-term potential benefits. Why is everybody putting down science fiction? Man, science fiction is science. It's just extrapolated, all right? So when it comes to ranking, Stanford University consistently ranks among the top universities in the world across various prestigious rankings, and I'm not going to name all of them today. Here are some of Stanford's notable rankings. So U.S. News and World Report from 2023 put them like on number 3 when it comes to national universities, and second in best undergraduate engineering programs, and fourth in best value schools. Then QS World University rankings from 2024 put them third globally and number 1 in the United States. So also Stanford University has produced numerous notable alumni across various fields, including technology, business, politics, literature, and entertainment. And here's some of the most famous Stanford alumni. When it comes to technology and business, of course, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, co-founders of Google, then Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal and Palantir Technologies, Reed Hastings, co-founder and CEO of Netflix, Vinod Khosla, co-founder of Sun Microsystems, Herbert Hoover, the 31st President of the United States, then John F. Kennedy, 35th President of the United States, and Sandra Day O'Connor, first female Supreme Court Justice, Cory Booker, U.S. Senator from New Jersey, then John Steinbeck, phenomenal Joe Steinbeck, one of my favorite short story guys. He's and also Nobel Prize winning author of Mice and Men, The Grapes of Wrath. Then there's Sigourney Weaver. I don't have to talk much about her. We all know who she is, right? Tiger Woods also. Sally Ride, first American woman in space, and physicist Stephen Chu, Nobel Prize winning physicist and a former U.S. Energy Secretary, and Yang-Soon Huang, co-founder and CEO of NVIDIA. If you haven't invested in NVIDIA recently, you're making a big mistake because they're going up. The only way is up for NVIDIA. Stanford University has been a prolific source of groundbreaking inventions and technological innovations over the decades. Here are some of the most notable inventions that have originated from Stanford. Recombinant DNA technology from 1973, which was developed by Stanley Cohen and Herbert Boyer, And this foundational technique for genetic engineering enables scientists to combine DNA from different organisms, paving the way for numerous biotechnology applications, chimeras and Frankensteins both, I guess. Also, computer mouse and hypertext linking from 1968. So that was Douglas Engelbart's pioneering work at Stanford Research Institute, now SRI International, which led to the invention of the computer mouse and the concept of hypertext linking, which became fundamental to modern computing and the World Wide Web. Of course, Google search engine from 1990s, one product that nobody can live without today. I mean, you can use DuckDuckGo if you want to go like a stealth, but anyways, the core technology behind Google's massively successful search engine, including the PageRank algorithm, which was developed by Stanford PhD students Larry Page and Sergey Brin in the 1990s. Then, late 60s, we have FM sound synthesis. And that was John Choning who invented FM sound synthesis, a technique for digitally generating sounds, which became widely used in music synthesizer and laid the groundwork for digital music. And in the 1980s, we have functional antibodies by Leonard Herzenberg, Vernon Oy, and Sherry Morrison, who invented a technique for producing functional antibodies, enabling treatments for autoimmune diseases, cancer, and other conditions. In the 2000s, there's a data visualization software created in Patrick Hanrahan's lab, which helped researchers analyze, visualize, and share large amounts of data efficiently. And 293 T cell line from 1990s, it was Michelle Callas and her team developed the widely used cell line for applications like gene therapy, vector production, and protein expression in the biotech pharma industry. And these are just few examples of the numerous groundbreaking inventions that have emerged from Stanford, solidifying its reputation as a driving force behind technological progress and innovation. And of course, I couldn't possibly finish this section without mentioning that Stanford has played a pivotal role in the development of artificial intelligence with the founding of the Stanford Artificial Intelligence Lab in 1962 and more recently the Institute for Human-Centered AI, or HI, in 2019. Stanford alumni and faculty have founded and led many of the world's most successful technology companies, including Hewlett-Packard, Cisco, Sun Microsystems, Yahoo, Instagram, Netflix, NVIDIA, EA, and many, many others. And space. How can I do this without mentioning something about space? Well, the spacecraft formation, flying, rendezvous, and docking technologies through projects at a Space Rendezvous Laboratory. Research on swarms and fractionated space architectures, which involve coordinating multiple smaller spacecraft. The Stanford Propulsion and Space Exploration Group conducts research on advanced propulsion systems and technologies for space exploration. Then there is a Space Environment and Satellite Systems, or SES, group studies that studies the space environment, its interactions with spacecraft, energy harvesting, hypervelocity impacts, meteors, re-entry, small spacecraft, and trajectory design. Also, microgravity research on the International Space Station, an iconic piece of hardware like ISS, and Stanford researchers recently sent an investigation to the ISS to leverage microgravity for improving the synthesis of semiconductor crystals for more efficient photovoltaic devices used in solar energy production. The interdisciplinary nature of Stanford's space research, spanning departments like aeronautics and astronautics, earth and planetary sciences, and collaborations with nearby institutions like NASA Ames Research Center, contributes to its strong presence in space sciences. And there's a Stanford Department of Aeronautics and Astronautics conducts cutting-edge research in areas such as spacecraft design, space system engineering, and space exploration technologies. The department offers undergraduate and graduate programs in aerospace engineering, preparing students for careers in the space industry. And I mean, there's literally like too much for me to mention today. It's just also Stanford University has been actively engaged in analyzing and responding to the ongoing war in Ukraine through the expertise of its scholars, research centers, and student initiatives. Stanford scholars like Stephen Pfeiffer, a former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, have provided insightful analysis on the conflict's roots, trajectory, and potential resolution. Then there is the Ukraine Support Alliance at Stanford, or USAS. A student-run organization has rallied the community to mobilize humanitarian aid for Ukraine. As of early 2024, USAS had facilitated over $5.8 million in monetary aid and donated $3.5 million worth of emergency supplies. The group has organized missions to deliver over 32 tons of medical supplies directly to Ukraine. Great job, guys. And now again, sports. Again, the list is so long, and you would not believe how many Stanford athletes have participated in Olympic Games, and this is insane. Stanford University has an exceptional athletics program that excels across numerous sports. There is some unparalleled overall success. Stanford has won the most NCAA team national championships of any university with 134 titles, and Stanford has won at least one NCAA team championship for an incredible 47 consecutive years, dating back to 1976 or 1976 or 77, and reclaimed the top spot in the 2022-23 Learfield Directors Cup, awarded to the most successful overall college sports program, marking their 26th time winning this prestigious honor. And I mean, the list is long. I'm not gonna go in there, like water polo, rowing, lacrosse, this, that. It's crazy. Also, Stanford University has been prominently featured in various works of fiction across literature, film, and television. Here are some notable examples of how Stanford has been depicted in fictional narratives. In Avatar, the character Grace Augustine wears a Stanford t-shirt. In The American President, President Andrew Shepard mentions that he attended Stanford. In Die Hard, the character Takagi is said to have graduated from Stanford Law School in 1962. Then there is a 1944 film Double Indemnity, which revolves around a plot to kill a man on his way to a Stanford reunion. In the Left Behind book series by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins, the character Chloe Steele attended Stanford. In John Steinbeck's East of Eden, the character Aaron Trask is enrolled at Stanford when he runs away to join the army during World War I. Then there's a Star Trek, X-Files, so many. And Canada and Canadians at Stanford, well, the Open Medicine Foundation Canada supports and collaborates with the Stanford Collaborative Research Center directed by Ronald W. Davis at Stanford University. And some notable Canadian Stanford alumni are Barry Schiffman, Leslie Robertson, Hank Dutt, and somebody else, formed the Kronos Quartet while students at Stanford in the 1970s. Their renowned string quartet is originally from Canada. There were 206 Canadian students enrolled at Stanford in 2014, including 31 undergraduates and 175 graduate students. So, what about the future? Well, there is a Stanford Future Bay Initiative, a research education practice partnership aimed at co-producing actionable solutions for urban challenges in the San Francisco Bay Area, then Sustainable Stanford Living Lab Fellowships, then Summer Undergraduate Program on Energy Research, also Stanford 2025 initiative, then financial management service projects. There's so much going on. It's fantastic. So the future is moving swiftly. So if you want to board the correct educational train, you have to do the same. So keep up your best work, establish an asterisk mining business. I'm pursuing my IT certifications via Coursera, a company started by a Stanford graduate student. So select Stanford, or if you don't have funds, try Coursera. In any case, stay selective.